So I recently finished playing Mario Kart on the Wii. I think if you played one Mario Kart game, you've pretty much played them all. Granted, the graphics and the gameplay, they get better each time you play on a new console generation, but for the most part the core gameplay has stayed pretty much the same. You pick your racer, race on the track, and try to get in first place with a bunch of items that you can use to mess up other racers. This game is not really any different. I played this after playing Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U from about a year ago or so, and this game feels like the predecessor, obviously, but it feels like the predecessor that really sets the groundwork for modern Mario Kart. There's no drifting mechanics in this game, which was a little bit weird going back to, but there is like a trick system. After you go off of jumps, you can hit tricks and you'll get a little speed boost off of whenever you land back on the racetrack. The gameplay in Mario Kart Wii isn't exactly the deepest, but it's not bad because of that. I actually had a really fun time playing this game. In Mario Kart 8, for example, you can use like drifting to get around tight corners and get a little speed boost. And there's the thing like getting the 10 coins to get like a little bonus, whatever that does. I don't know off the top of my head what exactly that does, but they have that in Mario Kart 8. This game doesn't really have that. The only thing that you'll be picking up while you're racing are items to use against other racers. There isn't a whole lot of depth to the gameplay, but it's still a really fun core gameplay experience. The colors and the art style in this game in particular are pretty good, even for the Wii. There are some Wii games that I play that are just pretty ugly with their old pre-HD graphics, but this game just looks really good. All the colors pop and they're really vibrant on the screen, and while I was playing it, there were times that I forgot that I wasn't playing in HD. I think that's pretty high praise for what a Wii game is able to accomplish in terms of its graphics. The music's pretty good for the most part on all the different tracks. It's not very memorable, but for the most part, it's Mario music. If you've played a Mario game, it's pretty much the same across the entire board. It's all relatively good stuff. One thing I will say that I'm impressed by is the amount of different control options you have when playing this game. It says on the back here that you can play it with just the Wiimote in the steering wheel peripheral, the Wiimote in the nunchuck, a Wii Pro controller, or even a GameCube controller. I think having this level of accessibility in your control styles to let people play however they want to play, I think that's really cool, and not a whole lot of games can boast so many different play styles. I will say the game is not very difficult. I was playing for the most part on 150cc, which is the highest difficulty, and I was coming in first almost every single race. There are a couple exceptions where the random elements of all the items crashing in on you at once would tank me and I'd come in like 10th, but for the most part it's not a particularly hard game, and which again, it's kind of to be expected. I mean, it's Nintendo. With Mario Kart, they don't really design them to be ball-breakingly hard, but I do think that the game is just very, very easy overall. There's a lot of different track variety in the game. Pretty much like other more modern Mario Karts, you have your top row of cups that have all original levels, and on the bottom row you have a bunch of remixed classic levels from prior games in the series. It makes playing each cup really interesting, and you're always racing on new tracks, and you can always go back to your favorites if they happen to be included in the game. So I liked all the different track varieties that the game has. There's some replayability with Mario Kart Wii in that you can unlock different characters and kart customizations, stuff like that. Pretty basic stuff compared again to Mario Kart 8, but it's nice that it's included here to allow people to replay and get the most that they can out of this game. There is split-screen multiplayer in this game, so if you have a buddy that you want to play the game with, go ahead and grab some Wiimotes and give the game a try. One thing that did kind of weird me out was whenever I got through all of the cups and had the credits roll, they ended the game on this image, like a congratulations image, but it looked really bad. It looked like a middle schooler made it in Photoshop or something like that. I don't want to be too harsh on it, but it really was just a moment where I sat there and started laughing to myself at how bad it looked. Again, just really weird for how much of the game is so good and clean. It just kind of really took me out of the experience for a minute there. So yeah, if you're able to find the game relatively cheap, I would say that Mario Kart Wii is a great game to have in a Wii collection. If you're looking for the best Mario Kart experience, I would say you could skip this and just go for Mario Kart 8 on either the Wii U or the Switch. From what I've played, it's more deep in its gameplay and it's more refined than this game, but you can't really go wrong with Mario Kart, no matter what platform you're playing it on. So I highly recommend it if you can find it for cheap out in the wild.